All right, folks, today we are going to talk about what is portfolio bid, when do you use it, and what does it look like in action. I think this is the first time we've ever started a meeting or call where we just get right to the point. Don't get used to it.
The takeaway is that Andrew's the problem.
Yeah, it's totally not us. We are so organized and on top of it. All right. So let's just start with this. I'm giving myself a time because I want to give you guys a nice succinct video where you don't have to listen to too much of our talking. I'm going to be talking about an instance of using portfolio bid for lead gen. In my mind, I use it more for lead gen. Usama does use it for e-commerce. I truthfully just know how to use it better in the lead gen sense. Let's just start right from the top about where you find portfolio bid. In the old Google ads, you would be like, setting up your bids and budgets, and then let's say use portfolio, and then you might accidentally click it because you're like, I don't even know what this means. But let's just talk about where you find it in the current Google ads, and let's see if I even know what I'm talking about.
You know what's funny? I never remembered either. I just go through it, but it's in the tools, Colby.
Yeah, I was just like, and I don't know where it is. It's in tools, and then I believe shared library, right?
No. Budgets and bidding at the bottom. Colby,
oh my God. I don't know. I somehow have a job in Google Ads, ladies and gentlemen, and it does work. But anyways, yes, bid strategies. We're going to have some of this blurred out. This is very like the more complicated method, but I'll tell you kind of how we got here and where we're going. So cool thing about portfolio bid strategy. Let's just talk about what it does. A bid portfolio is essentially giving you the opportunity to merge the data from multiple campaigns. When you are running Google Ads, the rule is in order for it to optimize optimally, such a weird sentence, it needs 30 conversions or more if you're using smart bidding. Now, there are going to be instances where you still want to have campaigns or ad groups or whatever. You want things segmented and you want to have it across different campaigns. But what happens if you cannot sustain or reach those 30 conversions? Now, quickly just throwing out, you could do micro conversions, but let's say you don't want to do micro conversions. Let's say you can get the volume of 30 conversions or more. Now, what could you do if you could just combine all of that, right? So let's say you have, in my case, 3 or 4 different campaigns, kind of going back and forth here. But what I've done is I have all of these campaigns here on search, and for all these search campaigns for a B2B audience, or actually let's say lead gen audience, they are all different offerings. And some of them are very popular. They can get 30 conversions, no problem. But other of them, they might only be able to get 4 or 5 conversions. And let's just say maybe we're in a world where there's lead, qualified lead, customer. Let's say I want to optimize towards customer because that's going to give me the best data. And so I'm finding that I can optimize for 30 conversions on customer for some of my campaigns, but I can't on some of my other. So what if there was a way for me to group together all of my campaigns that could only generate 3 or 4 conversions and then make them stack up to 30 conversions? And what that then is portfolio bid. And so what I have done here, now let's go back and you can see I've already forgotten where I need to go. Bid strategies. So we'll do that in slow-mo. Tools, budgets and bidding, bid strategies. Now you would go in here, you would create new bid portfolio strategy and you'd follow the prompts. Now, in my case, what we've done here is you create the bid portfolio. In here, you can then...
Why don't you create one from scratch just to show the people? And then...
Yeah, that sounds good. Give the people what they want.
Yeah, right.
All right. But... So let's say in my instance, I'm doing target CPA. We could just call this test. Right here, this is going off of a recommended target CPA. It says recommended is whatever. Sometimes this lacks context, though. This is just giving me a campaign, like a total CPA. I might have like 5 or 6 different conversion actions in here. So this might not always be relevant. Don't always just blindly listen to Google. Look at your stats and your numbers and make sure that
tidbit on what Google says. You could follow that, but always look at 30, 60, 90 days. 7, 14, 30, 60, 90, and then get a number from there. Don't base it solely off of that.
Yeah, like there's parts of this that are true. My thing is
I don't want to derail, Colby. Keep going.
Fine.
because we'll completely derail.
Yeah. All right. Yes. Speed. This is a lightning round. All right. So target CPA, let's just say I want it to be like $500. Create a shared budget.
Okay.
I don't believe in doing shared budgets. I think
I
Usama
was
does
gonna ask
sometimes.
you that. Because my opinion is shared budget, and you don't believe in shared. So my opinion is two-tiered. One, if if the client doesn't necessarily care where the money goes, or you don't necessarily where the money goes, and it's just like this worth $500, this is worth the $500 job, blah blah blah, and there's just a bunch of different ones. I just go with shared budget. But then if there's like certain needs, if like I don't know, like let's just say AC repair jobs are more in need and they want a certain amount of budget to it, right? Versus AC gas filling. I don't even know what I'm saying, but let's just say two different job types and you want more budget towards one. That's when I would split up the budget. But when it's like when it doesn't really matter, I just like shared budget. I'm like, go spend where you think works.
Yeah.
No?
And there's no right or wrong. Like it's all just about how you adapt to it. And so I'll tell you the reason I don't do it is because I like to have that control. And so if you do a shared budget, Google is going to put the budget towards whatever item is performing best. I like to have my bid portfolio because I can pick which campaigns are going to have what budgets. So if there is one campaign doing really well in the bid portfolio, I can just scale that campaign and then I don't have to worry about that budget going somewhere else. You could argue that you could just do that in the shared budget point, but you just get a little bit more control, I think.
No, that's interesting too, because I think you make a good point with the different budgets, because sometimes when you start scaling portfolio and then you do like a sudden budget increase, what's it? I don't know where I'm getting these words. I'm struggling with English, but a very massive budget increase that all of a sudden it does kind of spiral, and it'll just start distributing budget in random places where it's not supposed to, and then it'll bounce back. So
and it might just stay concentrated like in that good performing area. And so the problem with that is, say you have 5 campaigns, 2 do well, the budget's just going to be concentrated in those 2 areas, and you're not going to be able to get the growth in some of those other areas. And so that can be the problem there. Here, did we create any of this? Let's go. We say save. Test has been saved. Now you go and you create this test, and here you then can choose what your target CPA can look like. I'm going to just delete this quick so I don't forget.
Oh yeah, don't forget to add your campaigns. So
yes. Oh yeah. So in here, sorry, you go, Usama.
No, you show that, and then I'll give pointers to what I find, and then you can give pointers to what you find.
Yeah, and then here you'd go in and you would add your campaigns. Now, the thing I'm going to talk about here, I don't know what volume you have. I don't know anything about you. I don't know who you are, or do I? But anyways, you want to try to keep them somewhat alike. Like, if you have a lot of campaigns, the conversion volume might be different. You can really get crazy with this. And let's say you have so many campaigns that are only getting like a few amount of conversions. You can actually have different bid portfolios for different items or like different demand levels. And that's the better way to group it.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. So now that we know how to add the campaigns, can you go back to the other one that you were showing earlier?
Yeah.
So results of it too after too, guys. And because why are you not shared by the Colby bid strategy?
I don't know. When I talk, like I can't operate Google Ads. I joke that I don't know.
First one that you had, yeah.
I talk to clients and I'm like, you would swear that I've never used Google Ads in my life, but you can look at the results, people. I somehow, somewhere, someplace ended up here.
Okay, so I have a question. I want to get your thoughts on it. Open up the first one.
Which one? So I don't know if people be able to read this. Let's just say
just open it up. I want to see something, and I want to get your opinion on it and get your feedback on. So move the mouse because I can't read what's going on. So if you look at the queries, so my question is, would you group certain campaigns? Let's just say like different servers, like electrician, plumbers, HVAC. Would you group all of electrician in one, plumbers in one, and HVAC in one?
Ooh, where are we looking here?
Where the arrows pointing up and down. Let's just say one of those queries.
You can read the locations, but don't read what the actual products are.
Okay, I'll just use random. Let's just say one of those queries is like someone looking for a plumber, and the other one is someone looking for an electrician, right? Yeah. And the other one is someone looking for an HVAC service. Would you consolidate all those in one campaign, or would you have one for electrician, one for a plumber, one for HVAC? Because in my head, if it's optimizing towards a certain demographic, plumbers is one demographic, electrician is one, and HVAC is one. So I would toss all my plumbers in one, all my HVAC in one, and all that stuff in one like that. What are your thoughts on
Perfect world. Perfect world. I always say segmentation is key. You segment as much as you can.
that?
Real world, nothing ever goes as planned, and everything is, you're just sitting there like, what am I going to do here? So I always go of this, like, let's do can see something. I have two different bid portfolios here, and one of them says LP, the other says GP. All that stands for is low performers and good performers. And what I've done is, at one point, I had nearly 19 campaigns, all in one single portfolio bid, right? And as you can imagine, Google's going to put more of the emphasis on the better performers.
Yep.
And if you just think of an app from like an average standpoint, you're going to have a bunch of campaigns that are performing really well. And if you have you have other campaigns in there, like your average isn't going to be accurate. So if you can segment them and split them out, then you can provide a more accurate average. And now for all those campaigns, you'll be able to get a cost per acquisition closer to what you want and be able to dial it in further, where if it's all in one group, you can only lower it so much. But if you have your good performers, you can really dial down that CPA. And if you have, your worst performers, you can be a little bit more moderate, and you don't have to worry about it impacting your best performing campaign.
You're kind of tiering it essentially. Like you'll have your you'll start off all together, and then you'll kind of start tiering it where like you have your best performers, you leave them in the main one, you start another one with everything. You get the best performers of there, leave those there, and then you kind of just break it down more and more, and then you can scale them that way.
Yeah. And there's another step to this too that wasn't mentioned is while you're doing all this, you need to watch the campaigns themselves. And sometimes these campaigns, from giving this piggyback of portfolio bid, they'll start receiving 30 conversions on their own. And me and a guy named Glenn Wilson used to call this when a campaign would graduate out of portfolio bid and it could go live on its own. You have a ceremony for it, and then it can just be outside of portfolio bid. And in a perfect world, there's certain clients where I started with portfolio bid and then broken it out and didn't have to use it anymore just because we got to scale so much. There's a lot of learning to go, and this process isn't immediate. I would say, the old rule used to always be like about waiting 30 days with portfolio bid. It still is, you're still waiting a little more.
I actually agree with that rule. Like the rule of thumb that I have is like you launch it or you make a change to it, 30 days, do nothing. At least for the first 30 days of the launch of a portfolio bid strategy, absolutely nothing. Like
you can sometimes, I'm just thinking like when you get push comes to shove, like, you got to buy time with clients or, your stakeholders, whatever. Sometimes I say we at least need 2 weeks. And if we're making changes at this point, it still might compromise everything. But after 30 days, you can adjust it, and it kind of like it starts to roll with you. You got to give it more time than a campaign, though. It's not going to be as quick.
So yeah, you got to treat it like individual campaigns. Like the best way to probably go about it is at least 2 weeks after a change to this, even if your budget increasing. I like to look at things based off of conversion cycles in app and based off what you do. So like if the conversion cycle for your thing is like 3 days, you want to wait 10 days at least, because one, that number is probably Google's number, not the actual number, right? So don't base it off of that. So double or triple that number, and then that's how long you want to wait before you touch those portfolios again. Especially
I agree.
So many. If it was an individual campaign, then you would just focus on the conversion cycle and base it off of that and wait less days. But there's so much going on in that, so many data points in there.
I like that you said there's so many data. Just keep it at that. There's so many datas.
So many data. There's so many data points in there that you don't want to rush it into confusion, because every time you make a change or every time you make a drastic change, Google has too much information and doesn't know what to do. That's like where you scale the budget all of a sudden with PMAX, and then it'll just end up on display because it was fine till you increase the budget because they knew who to go after. But all of a sudden you widen the circle like 10x, and I was like, oh, I got to spend this money. Where do I spend the money? It just goes for anything and everything. That's my rant. Okay, let's show some results.
Perfect rant. Yeah, and so just to say, make sure that I'm not just a snake oil salesman. This is a big endorsement for you should add notes into your account if you're talking to a client, or maybe you talk to anyone. I don't know, once again, who you are, what you do, but if you add notes in your account, even for yourself, you can be like, okay, why did I see these fluctuations? Look at how convenient that is, especially over a year. Now, funny enough, there's so many here. I'm just trying to see where I did go ahead and add portfolio bid, you can see there's actually, you might not be able to see because it's getting blurred out, but anytime we make changes to that portfolio bid, what it looks like now. Let's see. I might just show you from when I started managing this. It was a year over year, so I started in 2025. And one of the big changes I recommended was implementing portfolio bid. This client was looking for significant scale. And so from a year over year perspective, we have been able to, we can show these numbers at the very least. Maybe we can block out that currency though. We can see that we've increased budget by 100%. Offline conversions have increased by 90%. The offline CPA has only, and when I say offline CPA, this is like our final conversion. That cost, we've increased the cost by 100%, and our CPA only went up by 5%. That is very, very, very good. And then the fact that we got, like the fact that we're able to scale by 100% and then see, or 100% cost and by 90%, like our ultimate goal. This is exactly what you'd want to see. You almost never see this because of diminishing returns. So this just shows that we kind of like almost horizontal the depth of the business, being able to create more campaigns for more of their offerings. And then we could just scale into those. And they had before they had me, they said, we can't get volume to anything. And if you have campaigns that are only getting 3 conversions and they're not in portfolio bid, they're just going to die out. Whereas if you have portfolio bid, they're going to, you know, Google's managing
volume. It also helps with volume too.
Yeah, it does. It just helps with volume, and it just allows you to scale and optimize. And like,
it's been mine, yours, and Glenn's last ditch effort for a couple of clients that have saved us. Because I think once or twice I've gone to client like, give me 30 days, and if this doesn't work, then fire me. And
yeah. Honestly, whenever I'm in a bad situation, especially with lead gen clients, I find myself going to portfolio bid, and I think it's such a good tactic. And yeah, that's the way I'd use it. I feel like that was the most structured and organized call we've ever done. So go tell your friends, your grandparents,
join our school
cousins, nieces,
send us
nephews.
money.
Yeah, we will tell you the secrets to life if you
We're
subscribe.
probably gonna make the free community too with resources for you guys too, and then those will just be there for anybody who wants to. And then if you want to join the live calls, that'll just be the paid one. But we'll make some good stuff too. Don't worry, guys.
It's valuable too. We've had some really great thought leaders in there, and we're just talking all these good things. And you could be one of those people. You could be talking to really smart people, learning what real smart people do. You could hear some of the dumb things I say, some of the smart things Usama says.
Sometimes
it's a good time. And yeah, you'll see what's on the cutting edge and all that fine and dandy stuff. But other than that, I'll stop flapping my mouth.
Let's stop recording.
Bye-bye.
What the benefits of working from home today?
Yeah, you're responsible for kids, and then they put a hula hoop around you. But